Welcome to the Reporting QuickBooks Premier 2012 webinar. One of the most appealing features of QuickBooks Premier 2012 is its reporting function. This is flexible, robust and easy to use. Many businesses are often surprised at how well QuickBooks Premier 2012 turns raw data into powerful reports or graphs which can really support and enhance their business. This webinar is going to focus on the reporting. I'm going to demonstrate how to access, customize and amend the preferences to make the reporting as beneficial to our clients' businesses. I'm also going to show you the powerful new features, for example, the integration of reports within Excel. There is also a PDF user guide called Reporting QuickBooks Premier 2012. This contains instructions and screen grabs on the processes that I'm going to demonstrate. Please note that we're not following the PDF user guide page by page today, however it will make a great ongoing resource for you. Let's have a look at our first section, which is how to access reports and graphs in QuickBooks Premier 2012. To access the reports, I need to complete the following. First of all, I would select Reports. Once I've selected reports, you can then see on my screen that there are different categories of reports. These range from company and financial, to sales to budgets and forecasting. Each category of report has submenus for the appropriate menus. If I have a look at the company and financial reports, you will see here that there is a different submenu which includes such reports as the Profit and Loss Standard Report. Towards the bottom of this list, there is also a further 3 reports selected here. You can see we have Quick Report, Transaction History, and Transaction Journal. QuickBooks Premier 2012 is very user-friendly and offers lots of different ways to access reports based on the user's preference. For example, I can access the Report Center by clicking Reports and then select Report Center. Report Center offers more generic previews of the various preset reports that come as standard with QuickBooks Premier 2012. Now what this means is that I can look at the preview, it will display no company-specific account names or balances, just the generic sample. This can be really useful to get an overview before selecting the report as required. There are also 4 tabs at the top of the Report Center along the top. We have Standard, Memorized, Favorites, and Recent. The Standard tab contains all the categories displayed earlier that exist under the Reports menu. The Memorized tab contains memorized reports and groups. Likewise, to access memorized reports, I can also go into Reports, select Memorized Reports, and then Memorized Report List. As you can see, this is all the reports that have been memorized. I also have the Favorites tab. The Favorites tab contains reports that have been marked as a fave in the Report Center by clicking on the heart below its listing. You can also add a report to Favorites. For example, let's add in our Profit and Loss Standard Report. I would select Standard, and where it has Profit and Loss Standard, you'll see here I have the heart with Fave mentioned underneath. If I click on this and go back to Favorites, you will then see that my Profit and Loss report has been saved as a favourite in the Favourite tab as shown on screen. Finally, the Recent tab displays reports recently viewed or displayed, including today and the last 7 days. It's important to be aware that any QuickBooks user with sufficient permissions in their user setup may run reports, even if these were created by another user. All report titles are visible to all users, regardless of their permission levels. If the user does not have sufficient access to various areas of company information in their user setup, they will not be able to access or produce certain reports. Instead, they will see a message indicating that they do not have sufficient rights to see the information in that report. Let me demonstrate this for you now. I have set up another company and user that is not able to access the reports. Therefore, I select my other company, which is called My Hotel Company. I'm now going to go and try and access my profit and loss report by selecting Reports, Company and Financial, Profit and Loss Standard, and you will see the following warning will appear on screen. Now, this is a very handy tool to protect classified information on the business. I'm now going to go back to my original company. Let's now have a look at our next function, which is looking at the report modifications and customizations that can be completed. Now, a great function of reports in QuickBooks is that they can be modified to suit the user's needs and preferences. Let's go in and have a look at our profit and loss report again. I select Reports, Company and Financial, and then finally Profit and Loss Report. Now, the date range can first of all be modified so that I can choose this month or, for example, choose the last financial year. As you can see, when I click on the different options, it will then bring up the specific transactions for that time period. What I can also do here as well is I can also amend the columns. If I go along, I can have total only or choose one of the other options from the drop-down box. Likewise, I can also sort by, and I have the options to sort by default or by total. Apart from these top of the report drop-down boxes, there are also many more modification options available for these reports. I select Customize Report. You'll then see I have the following window that will appear. Now, this Modify Report window will open with 4 tabs. These are Display, Filters, Header and Footer, and Fonts and Numbers. Please be aware, though, that due to the variety of reports available in QuickBooks, not every Modify Report window tab will be exactly the same. Let's have a look at these in more detail. I'm going to start with the Display tab. Now, this allows you to choose a given month or date range or select from the standard date range such as today, month to date, or last date of financial quarter. Next, we have the reporting basis. Now, this can be accrual or cash basis. Basically, this setting determines how the report calculates income and expenses. A key benefit of QuickBooks is the ability to run the books on the accrual basis, but also be able to view reports on the cash basis or vice versa. Very few accounting programs can do this, and QuickBooks does this with the click of a mouse. Finally, the Sort By tab column determines how the columns are displayed. For example, I may wish to choose total only for one column or one column for each month. I can also determine how the rows of the reports are ordered, either by a default order or based on another parameter. I can also add in sub-columns ranging from previous period to year date or percentage of income. I also have a box here which says Advanced. If I click on Advanced, it will display further advanced options. Now, this has options for display rows and columns. So, for example, I can keep all of these active, all or non-zero. Reporting calendar can be financial year, calendar year, income tax year, or payroll year, therefore providing lots of different options for me. Let's move on to the Filters tab.